Hey everyone, welcome back to my series on rebuilding the head of the RB30 out of the Unicorn 31. I'm splitting this up. I'm trying to keep it in a little bite-sized chunk videos. I don't want to do sort of massive length videos to start with. Obviously, I'm still getting used to recording videos and stuff, so quality's not great. Editing's taking a little bit longer than it should. But I want to keep them a little short, easy, simple for you to watch. Don't want to drag them out for an hour or anything like that until I know I've got some interesting content. So the first couple of videos, this one's, it actually took me 2 nights to get the head off the car. As I mentioned in previous videos, it is the first time I've worked on an RB. Done this on plenty of other cars before, first time on an RB. So learning all the ins and outs, learning what actually goes into moving and having to be removed to get the head. Took me a little bit longer than I expected to get the head off. But yeah, so do a little bit of an intro in this video. Just want to kind of give a bit more info than what I recorded previously. So a lot of these videos are going to be kind of recorded a bit out of order, recorded a lot of the content of me actually doing the work. And I'm going to come into these voiceovers or these little interludes in between to give you a bit more detail. So taking the head off, the one thing I can suggest, or the one thing I'd suggest for anyone, if you're working on a car that's going to be removing a whole bunch of different stuff, label everything. That's probably my number 1 tip. My number 2 tip is take your time. Don't rush. When you rush, things are missed, things are forgotten, things are put out of place. That's when you have problems. You put it all back together. Wonder why you get a handful of screws and bolts left over and a couple of hoses that you don't know where they go. Labeling everything is going to make your life so much easier when you go to put this thing back together. So ultimately, this ended up taking me a week and a half, almost 2 weeks to get the head off, get it back on again. If I get to the end of that week and a half and try and remember where everything goes, I've got Buckley's chance of actually remembering where all the different hoses and bolts and wires and cables and everything end up going. Just don't. What I tend to do, so for myself, find a system that works for you. For myself, I'm not going to be able to find it here. I have some low-tack painter's tape, so I can put it on wires, I can put it on hoses, it's not going to stick. I get a Sharpie, I wrap a little bit around each side and I label it. Hoses I tend to do numerically, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Wires I do alpha, so A, B, C, D. It just means that there's no confusion where things go. There's no confusion of how things run, where they go, where they end up. I get to the end of it, and you can see it. The tapes, usually your painter's tapes are bright green, bright yellow, bright blue. It's obvious in an engine bay. Everything's usually black and dark color, so the tape stands out. You can see what's missing, what hasn't been plugged back in. You can kind of trace around and find where it's supposed to go. That's one of the biggest tips I can possibly give. There's nothing worse to getting the end of it and looking at this spaghetti of wires and hoses and wondering where the fuck everything goes again. Label everything. Taking your time goes without saying. If you rush the job, if you rush what you have to do, you're not going to do it properly. You're going to take shortcuts. You're going to miss things. You're going to get to the end and wonder why it's not operating properly. It's not working the way it should because you've rushed and you've missed stuff. Take your time. Never rush this sort of a job. But outside of that, have fun with it. Learn, Google, YouTube, find videos like this, find people, go and talk to the communities that do this sort of stuff, go and talk to other drifters, go and talk to car people, whatever it happens to be. Learn to people that have been there before, that have done it. Ask. Most people are more than happy to spend a few minutes with you and give you some pointers and tips and things to watch out for. YouTube education is possibly one of the best things in the world. Everyone's, pretty much anything you can think of that you want to learn or do, there's YouTube videos for it. I'm not kidding. I've learned Japanese. I've learned how to play the mandolin. I've learned everything off YouTube. There is ridiculously smart people out there that have done this and been there before, and have usually shared it on YouTube. On that, enjoy. This is part 1 of taking the head off. I haven't gone into too much detail of how I've done it or what I've done, just because there's nothing really to learn. Taking it off is easy. See a part that has to come off and you kind of just work your way down. If things are in the way, you label them, take them apart, disconnect them, get ready to put them back on a couple of weeks' time. There's not really much to stripping it down and getting the head off. If you really need help, you can get, and I strongly suggest it, the good old Gregory's manual, workshop manual, service and repair manual. It has a whole bunch of shit in there. It's literally back to front of how to do a complete rip down on the engine, how to put it all back together. So if you need to know the tiny little ins and outs of actually taking it apart, I'd use that. Taking shit apart is easy. Putting it back together is the hard part. So that's what I'm going to go more in depth on in terms of repairs and actually fixing the head and cleaning it up. I've got a lot more in-depth videos, which I'll be releasing over the next couple of days. So on that, enjoy, take care. I'll see you in the next one. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Actually recording this after the fact. I got a little bit too excited last night. I was planning on recording this before I worked on the car, but got a little bit too excited and want to get stuff done. So I'm recording this at 5 o'clock in the morning when I'm up on day 2, because I'm wanting to get as much time as I can in this car. Baseball day, so I got to kind of get in early and get as much as I can done. But there is a whole bunch of stuff missing. We haven't quite gotten the head off yet. As you can see, have got intake all left-hand side of the engine. I'll turn this around. So have got all left-hand side of the engine off. Haven't quite got the head off yet. Having to get that bottom timing belt cover off, just because yeah, I can't untension the timing belt without taking the tensioner off, and that's under the bottom cover. I was kind of hoping it was under the top cover just to make life easy, but nah, why would we do that? So yeah, just got to get all this off, got to get the shroud off to get the fan off. Once the fan's off, I can take the belts off down the bottom, and then I should be able to get up and over. It's just those belts kind of get in the way because I need to pull the cover kind of out and over the tensioner. I can't just pull it straight up, unfortunately. Exhaust is unbolted. I haven't taken it off yet because I went to do these last night. I'm not sure if you can see, it's a little bit dark, I haven't got the light on. Went to do these ones here. I have got the new headers that are going on, so I went to do these bolts here, or the ones where this the lower section of pipe matches up to the cat under the car, and those bolts are truly rusted on. I don't think they've ever been taken off since stock. They were well and truly rusted, so I've been soaking them in some good old WD-40 overnight, just to hopefully loosen them up. Otherwise I might have to get the little butane torch out and heat them up and see if I can crack them this morning. But I need to get that off so I can get the head out. So yeah, I was wanting to take the bottom ones off just so I could take the whole lot out to fit the headers in, or to see if to see what I need to do to fit the headers in. I'm pretty sure the mount's going to be the same size, like the actual plate between the cat and the headers is actually the same size as the stock anyway. So hopefully they should just be mounted up, just have to get the gasket to pair it and then mount it in. But they're going to come off anyway, so whether I get an adapter plate or whatever, I'm going to figure out how I need to mount them, but that's got to come off anyway. What else is going to be done today? That's pretty much it. One dismantle, I was really wanting to get it out last night so I could start working on the head today and start stripping the head apart. But alas, ran out of time. So yeah, head should be out today. I've got baseball later this afternoon, so I've only really got half the morning, and then after we get home from baseball to do it. So I'm gonna stop talking and start rambling. I'm absolutely fucking knackered, but I'm gonna go eat some breakfast, and then I am going to get back into the car. As you can see, we did just sneak it into the garage. It literally just fits. So to work on the front, well, to get to my tools that are over there, I either open the garage door enough to roll the car out slightly, or we climb through the back seat. I'll see how cold it is when I open the garage door. I might be climbing through the back seat to get tools and working from the side of the engine today, or this morning anyway. But yeah, really exciting. First lesson learned, I didn't realize that RB had so many fucking vacuum hoses. Holy shit, there's a lot of hoses attached to that thing. The intake alone, man, I was numbering them. I think I got up to like 8, 9, 10 numbering when I'm pairing them up, just so I know where they go back on. Fuck, there is a lot of hoses on that thing. A lot of it's related to the PCV, like the emissions control and all that sort of stuff, but it's also got the vac returns and all sorts of stuff for the fuel system to help it, which I actually found 2 small hoses underneath the intake and the the throttle body that were actually disconnected. They're only smaller, and like 8-9mm hoses. Whether they've worked themselves loose because there's no hose clamps on them, or whether when the guy got it from, he sandblasted the intake, whether he's just missed them when he's put it back on, because they are very small now, kind of tucked away, so they were a little bit hidden. I've never noticed they were off until I actually took the head apart, or took the intake apart. I'm wondering if that's part of the reason it's got such a rough warm idle, where it's kind of flooding it, and it could be part of the fuel consumption issue I'm having as well. But yeah, I don't know. We'll soon find out, because I'll put them back on when I put it back together. I've labelled them so I make sure they go back on, I don't miss them. But yeah, excited, lots of stuff happening. I've been time-lapsing the whole thing, so I will have video of me stripping it apart and taking it back together. I'll probably do a video post and kind of talk about the different steps and what we're doing. Yeah, enjoy. See you soon.